Hi everyone, this is Maria Clark at Sweet Willow Designs and welcome to my studio. This is the first in a series of videos that I'll be posting on making wearable art, and I'll be uploading these periodically to my blog. Today is part one of a two-part series on making a rock purse from polymer clay. I hope you enjoy it, so let's get started. So what I have here is a rock. This is just an ordinary rock. I do have this covered with tinfoil because I prefer that as a release instead of using cornstarch or some other type of release agent. So just wrap your rock in tinfoil, make sure that it's really tight and that it is smooth. And then we'll take our clay. This is just a gold color clay that's been well conditioned, and we'll just go ahead and wrap our rock and pinch in the seams around the rock. I've got a lot of excess here, but that's okay because we're going to cut it away. Positioned up against and the rock is wrapped, we'll go ahead and take our stiff blade and we'll just cut this really close. And get rid of this excess clay. My acrylic rod, and I'll just go ahead and smooth that out. I do notice that I have some air trapped here, so I'm going to go ahead and just cut that a little bit and then smooth that out. So now I have this nice and smooth, and I'm going to go ahead and bake it according to the manufacturer's instructions. I already have my oven preheated. One thing though that I like to do is if I were to just lay this on a tile, I would get a flat spot there, and I don't really want to have that. I want to have a nice round shape. So I take just a pan of cornstarch, and I go ahead and sit it in there, and that acts as quite a nice armature or cushion for the clay, and then I can go ahead and bake it like this and get it into the oven. Okay, I've got my rock out of the oven, and it's still warm, so you want to make sure that you've got it warm to make it easier to do your cut. Now I have a little trouble making a straight cut, so I'm using a little rubber band to just mark where I want this cut to go, and this will serve as a guide for me. I'm going to go ahead and use a very stiff blade, sharp blade to start, and just go around using my rubber band as a guide. See how easy that makes this? It's really nice. And keep going until I made my cut all the way around. Okay. So I've got my cut. I can remove my rubber band, and I can go ahead and take it apart. Okay, part one. It's a little bit hot. Use something to help me get this because it's a little bit warm. And part two. And I've got two nice pieces now, and you can see that they fit together very nicely. Now I'm going to let this go ahead and cool the rest of the way, and then I'm going to go ahead and make the collar, the inside collar, that will help hold these two pieces together. Let me go ahead and put my liquid clay in. I'm going to put liquid clay, since this is going to be raw to bake. Go ahead and put my liquid clay here, so I can get a good adhere. So I'm going to leave maybe about that much of a lip. Go ahead and quite a bit of excess. So go ahead and cut this. and smooth that seam. Get that smooth. Okay. Okay. Now I can go ahead and fit the top piece. I'm actually going to put a little bit of cornstarch on the outside of this, just to make sure that there's, I don't run the risk of having any kind of, if I've got some extra liquid clay or something like that, make sure that this is covered so I don't have any chance of this top piece sticking. And then I can fit this over this piece. And fits nicely together. And I will go ahead and now I will bake this again according to the manufacturer's instructions. So I'll bake this for at least 20 or 30 minutes to get that inside collar set. And then once that's finished baking, we'll come back together and take a look at our finished blank. I've taken my blank out of the oven. It's had its second curing, so it's been cooled. I did run this under some water just to speed up the cooling, and it looks pretty good. So let's take it apart and see what we get when we open it up. So there's our two pieces. There's the lid. This will be the top, and then it fits right over that collar very nicely. And now what we have is a perfect blank for us to go ahead and embellish any way that we want. Now, one of the things that you can do is you can take some sandpaper and go over this a little bit just to smooth it out. If you would like to do that, I do see some areas where I think I could, particularly around the seam, benefit from some sanding, so you can go ahead and do that and clean it up just a little bit, make it a little bit smoother for us to go ahead and put our embellishments on. So as you can see, that's our rock purse, and what we have to do is make some design decisions about how we want these two pieces to fit together. Do we want to have it strung on the outside with some kind of holders? Do we want the strings to go through the inside? And then what kind of covering do we want to put over this base? So that's the fun part, is having an enjoyable time just actually doing the design work. But what we have here is a very good base to get started. So I hope you've enjoyed part one of this two-part tutorial. We'll be back with the second part on actually embellishing and finishing the rock purse.